Talk about going on the road. You've had this first month here at home. What challenges does it present? What do you hope to gain by going on the road?
Well, I mean, we wanted, again, not just the SMU home and home, but it was also, I think, with SMU Wednesday and Texas State Friday, it gives you the same kind of deal where you've got the 2 days in between uh, conference-like games. It's good, I think, when you take off for 4 days. We're going to be gone for 4 or 5 days on the trip. We've got a couple weeks before finals. It's a good opportunity again. And we haven't been on an airplane or at an airport since Brazil with the guys. So I think we can kind of flash back to that. There's team building and guys are getting away. And I think it creates very much of a family atmosphere. And it reminds you, you know, even though you don't have your classes in your own dorm or your own apartment, that at the end of the day, here we go, we're going to jump on the bus, head to the airport, and I think it solidifies a lot of what we're talking about within our culture of building on it and getting to know each other better. And then at the end of the day, you've got to go into a couple hostile environments and try to play basketball. And I think that challenge, is a big one for us, but it's also obviously something we're going to need to do. We need to learn not just how to win games, but we need to learn how to compete on the road in a different environment.
What was your biggest takeaway, good and bad, from the holiday tournament?
Biggest takeaway from the tournament, I would say, I think the thing that was most positive was the fact that we played 3 different styles of team, and that's not anything that you plan when you go into it. You don't schedule this teams because you think, one of them's it was perfect. Idaho State, they zoned us every time they made a basket, and they manned us every time they missed. So we got a combination game where we had to be able to flow from an offensive idea every trip down the floor. And then we played Central Michigan that was some full court pressure, some 3/4 court pressure, but 9 out of 10 times it fell back into a zone. So we had to play as, an entire zone game, maybe like last year where Arizona State zoned the whole time. And then we go to just the opposite end of the spectrum with Wright State in the man-to-man defense, pretty much from start to finish. And they were a physical team that played a heck of a lot of pick and roll. I didn't count the number of pick and rolls that they set on Saturday night, but it had to be right up there with as many as you could possibly have in any game. So all those different elements, it's really hard to kind of write that script ahead of time, but it exposed us to a lot of different things. And I think, we were in different positions trying to protect leads, trying to get leads, try to get back into games. And so I think we took away a lot in terms of experience of having done that.
Can you just talk about Dallin's development? Is he ahead of the curve, and he's obviously putting up some impressive numbers early?
Well, it's a classic case, I think, of he's kind of maybe insatiable in terms of wanting to get better. That's a pretty big word. But he's, from the day he showed up, he's wanting to get better. And I think on the radio with Bill, I talked about the same thing that'll make you laugh will make you cry. And I told Dallin that before our game Saturday night, that his energy that he brings to the game is fantastic, but at the same time, there's mistakes that are being made defensively. He was a guy that unfortunately led us in defensive mistakes per minute, but it's not for a lack of effort and determination. And so it's kind of like having one of those, young horses that's ready to run. You got to start plugging in some of the mental aspects to it and know when to slow down. And that's where we are right now, is maybe curbing some of that enthusiasm from him. And I think from a coaching perspective, he's everything that we want, and some of the things that we need to work on are fixable. You can't get a kid to play harder, typically. I mean, you try like heck all year long, but you can't coach effort. And so we know with Dallin that's never going to be an issue. And now what we need to improve on is right before our eyes, and he's eager to get to it.